welcome to your favorite program. At the incipient stages of a relationship, generally it moves on a wavelength of emotions, and this is where people express their passion and they are quite ecstatic about what they are involved in. But soon there ought to be a transition from emotional love to real love. But the question that has often baffled the minds of many is, when does the transition begin? Please stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, viewers. Sometimes when young folks are engaged in what they consider love, it is difficult for any adult to counsel them, because for them they are head over heels, and that is the end of the world. But it seems like sometimes the adults have a little more insight, because they can tell the discerning line between emotional love and true love. With me in the studio to dilate on this subject are three personalities, and I have with us on my immediate left Reverend Ebenezer Obodai. He's the Chief of Staff, Action Chapel International. He's also a marriage counselor. Reverend, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Then next to him is Mrs. Ekuba Quamin. She's a broadcast journalist with GTV and also a marriage counselor. Ekuba, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rev.
Then next we have Scofray Nana Yaw Yeboah. He's from the Springs of Life Chapel International, and he's also a transformational coach. Welcome to the show, Scofray.
Thank you, Reverend.
Let's set the ball rolling. And women describe emotions better than men. Reverend, would I guess you agree with me?
I agree with you perfectly.
So when we talk about emotions, Ekuba, what exactly comes to mind?
Well, you mentioned head over heels. It forms part of the emotional love period in a relationship. We talk about love as at first sight. We talk about the love that hits you, that makes you want to talk, see, and relate to a person. The immediate instant that you get attracted to each other. It is the love that overwhelms you, that you walk around the house smiling and laughing at no reason, but reasons best known to you running through your head and perhaps your heart. So you realize that emotionally it captures your entire emotion and it reflects outside. Perhaps that is the reason why they put the name on it. But you realize that your whole sense of being is thinking about one person that you hardly know anything about, perhaps even the family or any background, but the fact that something strikes you about the person makes you want to see the person, think about the person, want to be with the person, and emotionally you are so attached to the person, and that is what we call the emotional love. But of course you cannot take that away from true love, because once there's true love, there's some emotional love attached to it. But I'm sure we would
will come to those dimensions. But let me go to Scofray and find his thoughts regarding emotions and what emotions are actually meant for, given to us by God.
Well, emotion or emotional love is the part of us. It's like when the keyboardist strike a particular chord and it just pricks you. That is emotions, or that is emotional love. It is when you meet somebody you don't know, but something within you incites you to get closer and get to know the person the more. As the part of you that pushes you to take risk, because to live with somebody you don't know, you hardly know, is risk taken. So that is a part of us that pushes us to do things under normal circumstance we wouldn't do. You do it and you don't go like, oh, why did I do this? But the moment you came in contact with a person that struck that chord in you forget your total beingness. You lose composure of yourself. So in a nutshell, that is emotional.
Rev Obodai, you have a background in management as well as a Greek. Is that a stage where we talk of chemistry? And what are some of the issues that happen in us? Are there some hormonal issues related here?
Very interesting. Yeah, I think my good friends have made a very important point or contributions towards it. Emotions, like we know, has to do with feelings. It has to do with the way you feel about somebody. Now, he's saying that maybe you may not even know the person. It's true, you may have met the person for the first time, but some things feed in the emotion. It has to do with the things you see, and the pleasure it generates within you, the excitement it generates within you. Of course, there are chemical reactions. So when I saw it, there was a chemistry. What are they saying? It means that there was some emotional movement within my system that made me feel like getting closer to that person. I want to know that person better. I want to get attached as much as possible. You just want to strike a relationship with somebody. You may meet other people and there's no real impression. They don't make an impression on you. There's no connection. But when there's a chemistry, so emotionally I feel drawn to that person. And I think that is what people sometimes interpret as a special emotional love. They say love at first sight. There was an emotional connection the moment I saw the person, or the moment we were introduced. And it has to do with, you were asking about chemical reaction. It has to do with the hormones are stirred up because you see something pleasant. There's a hormonal build-up that makes you want to get closer and closer to the person. I think so.
To bring a little bit, to create a distinction between the emotional love and the others, where the situation where they will say, go into love with your head and not your heart. I mean, the reason why they will say that, the intellect allows you to think about things before taking certain decisions when it comes to loving. But emotional love just deals with what you feel in your heart. The way you felt when you saw the person. You might see the person for a period of time before getting this kind of attraction. So what activates in you through the heart, of course, that makes you feel towards the person in terms of love is what makes it an emotional love. Otherwise, not the intellectual one where you have to think, is it good enough? Is he dressed well? Does he speak well? That is the intellect at play when it comes to loving. But when it's emotional, you don't have time to think about all these, but you still want to be with the person before the other things set in.
Now let me come to Scofray. Scofray, I would suppose that it basically focuses on the outside. Does it look at the contour of mustache or the biceps and the triceps, on the arms? Does it focus mainly on the outside?
Yeah, mostly emotions are stirred up based on what you see, or based on certain parameters you've set for yourself, depending on what you want in an opposite sex. How do you define beauty in your own context or in your understanding? So the moment you meet somebody who fits into that image you've created, it strikes that particular chord. So emotions are stirred up based on what you see, what you've heard from infancy to how far you've grown to be, what you have been experiencing in and around your environment. That is able to stir that part of you that makes you feel. Because my website dictionary says that emotions is an intense feeling which has got a tendency to do good and evil. That's what emotion.
So it could be love or hate. It could be okay.
Yeah.